Hi, I'm Courtney. We've gone through setting up day and night, creating a bit of a pattern or routine for daytime, afternoon, and evening. The final step in Foundation 1 is all about the next 12 to 13 hours, the nighttime routine. When I work with families to help get their babies sleeping better at night, there are a few well-researched facts that I share with them. And I'm going to take you through these in this lesson. Feeding your newborn baby overnight is essential, and most babies will continue with overnight feeds until they're around 6 to 7 months old. Overnight sleep is also very important for bub, so unless you've been instructed to wake your baby for an overnight feed by a healthcare professional, don't. Allow your baby to sleep and wake naturally throughout the night for a feed. It's also important to know that not every wake up overnight means your baby needs a feed. So don't rush over and feed bub every time they make a noise or wake throughout the night. Oh, come here. There we go. As this can encourage snack feeding, and with snacking, guess what comes with that? That's right, cat napping or short bursts of sleep. If your baby is waking hourly or even every 2 hours, this is more likely a settling issue than a hunger issue. So how to know when to feed or not to feed? So when your baby wakes, take note of when their last feed was. Also wait and listen. They might just be moving from one sleep cycle to the next with a little grizzle or moan or groan. They might be cold or need a nappy change. Address this and let your baby head back to sleep. Ultimately, we want them to settle themselves back to sleep. But while they're still learning to self-settle, they might need a little bit of help. We'll cover more about self-settling in the next few lessons. Your aim is to space out your baby's feeds through the night so they're taking a full feed when they're hungry. With a nice full tummy, they can sleep longer, which is exactly what we want. If you do this, their nighttime sleeping pattern should naturally fall into place, and over time, the periods of uninterrupted sleep will increase and the feeds will decrease. For a newborn to 6 weeks old, try and make sure the first overnight feed isn't any earlier than 8 to 9 p.m. based on your 6 p.m. bedtime. It's important to feed bub if they're hungry, but if it's been less than 2 to 3 hours since the last feed, there's probably another reason why bub might be waking. Feeds after this should be at a minimum of every 2 to 3 hours. So this means your baby may be having 2 or 3 overnight feeds. At around 7 or 8 weeks, overnight feeds can be at a minimum of every 3 to 4 hours. If your baby wants to sleep for long stretches without waking, they're healthy and they're gaining weight, awesome, let them sleep. When your baby wakes and they're due for a feed, you should feed, burp and change them as swiftly as you can so your baby can head back to sleep. Overnight, it's important to feed them in nighttime conditions, so no light or noise with any feeds after 6 p.m. Try and keep it dark or very dimly lit. Don't turn the light on in their room or use your phone, as this will stimulate them. And try not to interact much with bub. Cuddles and touches, yes, but no chatting or singing. Some families choose to unswaddle bub to help signal that it's time to feed and give the opportunity for skin-to-skin time. If you need to, change their nappy before you feed them, as after their feed they are nice and drowsy. Or change their nappy halfway through feeding. It can help wake them up a little bit to keep on feeding. I think Zach is telling me it's time to sleep now. Judy, do you think we can pop him down to sleep? Good night, little one. Good boy. It doesn't always go to plan, and that's okay as well. So feed and burp your baby, re-swaddle to signal it's sleep time, and then place your baby back in their cot. Our goal is for bub to wake up between 6 and 7 a.m. So what happens if your baby stirs at say 5 or 5:30 a.m.? If they're hungry, feed them in nighttime conditions and put them back to bed, helping to establish a wake-up time of 6 or 7 a.m. If they're still sleeping at 7 a.m., gently wake them to start their day. You might think it's worthwhile giving them extra sleep. You'll probably love the extra time to sleep or get something done, but it'll throw their body clock out and you may not have a baby who's ready to head off to sleep at 6 p.m. When they wake at 6 or 7 a.m., give them a feed as per the sleep feed up time schedule, even if they fed only 1.5 or 2 hours ago. It might be a small feed, but that's okay. Always feed your baby when they wake up and the cycle will slot into place. So that concludes Foundation 1, helping to set your baby's body clock in a day and night routine so that they eventually sleep longer and longer at night because feeding and playtime is all in place. Obviously, not all days run smoothly, but on the good days, you've got a plan and it's going to help, I promise you. Remember to look for the lesson summary below this video. You'll find extra information links and you can download printable guides to refer back to when you need them.